Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, it's Jesse with the Common Nerd, bringing you pop culture and all things nerdy through a common sense lens. And man, I'll tell you what, boys and girls, we all know the state of Disney's Star Wars, right? We know that they turned what was arguably one of the most successful franchises in the history of the culture out there into something that is literally nothing more than $1 billion disaster, that they're probably $30 billion in debt. Upside down like a brand new car that you just drove off the lot, boys and girls. And it's one of them situations where it's been all of their fault, right? They tried to chase some new modern audience out there. Kathleen Kennedy tried to make Rey the center of everything. They tried to turn it into a girls brand. And it turns out that's probably going to be one of the biggest, most costliest mistakes in the culture history out there, boys and girls, and especially in Hollywood history. So we all know that, right? We got a little bit of a bright spot with Mandalorian season 1 and season 2 out there. But for the most part, Disney Star Wars has been bland at best and absolutely horrendous and destructive to the lore and a lot of your favorite characters inside the series out there. But boys and girls, it's one of them situations where Star Wars has been had a whole lot of projects that announced that have been quietly canceled or never talked about ever again. And Star Wars Starfighter was one of those. It was announced several years ago. It was something that had attached Shawn Levy attached to it. And then we just never really heard anything about it. Well, boys and girls, despite hearing literally nothing about the Rey movie in any way, shape, or form, despite the big splash and all of the hype about that movie, well, it looks like we're going to be getting a Star Wars Starfighter movie and Mando and Grogu long before we ever see a Rey movie come out of Disney Star Wars and Kathleen Kennedy. And I'm sure that's going to make all of the Reylos very sad out there. Hey, you want to love a Kathleen Kennedy self-insert? By all means, have at it. But at the end of the day, boys and girls, that was a Mary Sue character that was never going to sell, and screw the fact that they screwed over Poe Dameron as well. But we're going to share this article from CosmicBook.news, getting all the juicy details about Star Wars Starfighter, because unfortunately, boys and girls, at the end of the day, I cannot help myself but always try to be a little optimistic about the world out there. I have hope, and I know there's a lot of people out there that are always doom and gloom, and everybody always expects everything to be absolutely abysmal out there, and I feel you on that. Always expect the worst, but hopefully at the end of the day, you can kind of hope for the best, because Shawn Levy is involved in this, and after Deadpool and Wolverine, and of course all of his success being involved with Stranger Things as well, maybe, boys and girls, despite everything broken about Disney Star Wars, much like Mandalorian season 1 and season 2 would not change or fix the abomination or retcon any of the absolute bastardizations that were the Disney sequel trilogy. We might at least get a halfway decent story set in a Star Wars universe. And if they completely and totally ignore absolutely everything from the Disney Star Wars trilogy, you might end up actually having a slight success on your hands. So we're going to share this article from CosmicBook.news, getting all of the juicy details and see exactly what's going on, what Shawn Levy has to say, and of course, jump over to That Park Place and give us a friendly reminder as that stalled Rey movie is probably never actually going to happen, boys and girls. And also, this shows you that what we had heard about Disney trying to chase boy brands, about Bob Iger specifically saying, get back to male-centered characters, well, it looks like all of those rumors may indeed be confirmed. So we're going to check out all these juicy details, getting all of the exactly what's going on here. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, boys and girls, because we are grinding, we are growing. We just crossed 2,100. I think we're sitting at like 2,127, sailing our way towards 100,000, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, leave us a comment in the section down below. Let me know what you think about all this. Does it surprise you that this movie is actually going to come into production? Does it surprise you that it's going to happen before the Rey movie, despite all of the hype and all of the rest of the kind of stuff going on with this? Do you think with Ryan Gosling as the lead and Shawn Levy that this might actually be halfway decent and might give us some decent Star Wars content? Or are you going to be one of those people out there that because of what Disney has done, you are refusing to even give this a single chance? And honestly, if you're one of those folks out there, I don't blame you a single bit. Disney has done this and they deserve all of your ire. But I would love to know what you think about all of this in the comment section down below. And of course, if you'd like to support the channel, check out the links in the description down below. So we're going to start over here at Matt McGloin over there at Cosmic Book News, just to kind of give you the full rundown of what's going on with Star Wars and this new Starfighter movie. And then, of course, jump in and just rub salt into the wound of the fact that the Rey movie is not probably ever going to come out. So from Matt McGloin over at CosmicBook.news, Star Wars Starfighter goes in production and cast announced. Wow, oh wow. Lucasfilm has announced that Star Wars Starfighter, directed by Shawn Levy, has officially gone in production in the UK. The new film is a standalone adventure that tells an original story in a period of the galaxy not yet explored in Star Wars. Now, from what I've heard and what I understand so far, is this one's supposed to be set like 5 years after Rise of Palpatine, Rise of Skywalker, the not Skywalker one. So it's one of those situations where that's what I've heard so far, but we haven't had too much of that confirmed, so we'll have to see what happens when all this comes. But that's what I've heard so far. The theatrical release is set for May 28th, 2027, which obviously we know we've got the Mando and Grogu movie coming out in 2026. As to whether or not this is actually going to lead to getting a Star Wars movie once a year, I highly doubt it, because we know the Mando and Grogu movie is nothing more than season 4 of Mando and Grogu put into a movie. But this is at least something after over a decade of not seeing a Star Wars movie in the theaters, after them promising we were going to get one at least every other year. Yeah. Boy, I wonder what happened. It's almost like, despite all of the media hype, all of those Disney Star Wars movies actually flopped at the box office and cost the company money. Oh, that's right. The UK tax returns confirmed that for Rise of Palpatine. That movie cost $650 million to make. It lost money. And then, of course, Solo definitely lost money. I wonder why we didn't get any Star Wars movies after that. It's almost like the company was broke. Ryan Gosling leads the cast, joined by Flynn Gray, Matt Smith. Shout out to one of the greatest doctors out there, Matt Smith, the man, and also does a great job in House of the Dragons as a wonderful villain, but obviously showed us he can play a great hero in Doctor Who as well. Well, guess what? Because of House of Dragons, he's going to play a villain in this one. Mia Goth, which has done a great job in a lot of those. She's one of those kind of like the B-rate horror movies. I can't remember the name of them now. She did like a whole trilogy of them, and the final one ended all about her and stuff like that. Mia Goth's done a great job in a lot of things out there. Aaron Pierre, obviously a lot of you might know him as one of the Green Lanterns. He's going to be our Jon Stewart in DC. Y'all know I'm a DC fanboy. Simon Bird, Jamal Westman, Daniel Ings, and Amy Adams, which of course I loved Amy Adams in Man of Steel. Think she's a lovely lady. Think she's a very pretty lady. I'm excited to see her do anything out there. So there's a lot of good names. And the nice part is, outside of Ryan Gosling, which I guess you could kind of argue he's a big name, right? I think he's more of one of those heartthrob, like, unless you're into like the romance movies all the time and stuff like that, I don't think he's really that big of a name in the mainstream out there. So I like the idea that they're not using a bunch of like huge names. And thank the Lord in heaven, they're not finding another role for Pedro Pascal. Goth and Smith are said to be playing villains. Perfect roles for them, especially with Goth and Smith in their recent roles. While Gray has landed a breakout role after months of casting searches. Amy Adams is reported to be playing the mother of Gray's character. But of course, Ryan Gosling is going to be the lead of this movie, boys and girls. Wow. You mean it's not Reva that's the lead? It's not Leia? It's not Rey? It's not the power of many and some lesbian space switches? Whoa. It's a white straight dude is the lead, and he's not ugly. It almost much like Cracker Barrel, it almost looks like when the fans make their voices heard and these companies lose billions of dollars, they're actually forced to change their ways. Now, does this mean this is going to be any good? I mean, it's got Shawn Levy, so probably. Is this going to fix anything that's dead about that and revive Disney Star Wars? No, it's a dead brand. And unfortunately, it'll probably be a miracle if this movie cracks $500 million at the box office. Let's be honest, boys and girls. Star Wars Starfighter takes place about 5 years after the events of Rise of Skywalker. While Lucasfilm has not revealed official plot details, reports suggest Gosling's character protects a young charge across a galaxy-spanning adventure. Levy's film is not tied to the Skywalker saga and instead introduces new characters and conflicts. This is Shawn Levy on directing the movie. And honestly, like I said, he did incredible Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm going to at least give this a shot and watch it, if nothing else, just to review it for you guys and let you know what I think about it, and most likely Mrs. Common Nerd as well. But like, I'm willing to give Shawn Levy a shot. Right, Disney Star Wars is dead. And unless somebody decides to come in and retcon everything that happened in those movies, none of that is really going to change. But at least we might get a good sci-fi movie out of Shawn Levy, so we'll see what happens. And honestly, this is what fans have been saying for a while. If you're going to try to revive the franchise without retconning what happened in the Disney Star Wars movies, your only option is to do something completely away from everything else that has gone on. And it sounds like that's exactly what they're doing. But Shawn's excited. I feel a profound sense of excitement and honor as we begin production on Star Wars Starfighter. From the day Kathy Kennedy, the devil incarnate inside of Disney Star Wars, called me up, inviting me to develop an original adventure in this incredible Star Wars galaxy, this experience has been a dream come true, creatively and personally. Star Wars shaped my sense of what a story can do, how characters and cinematic moments can live with us forever. To join this storytelling galaxy with such brilliant collaborators on screen and off is the thrill of a lifetime. Now, Shawn Levy has never been a guy out there pushing a lot of the activism, right? This is again a guy that's just out there making good movies. And that's one of the things too. You notice something missing from Shawn Levy's excitement about getting into the Star Wars universe? Oh, we're going to make it for a modern audience. Oh, I'm going to tell my story. No, this is a guy who, at least by his own admission and his own words, and I have no reason to doubt what he's telling us, is a Star Wars fan. It shaped how he views things and how he does things as a director. That is a love, honor, and respect that we have not seen for a very long time here from anybody working for Disney. Outside of Bo DeMayo, this is the closest we've seen from somebody new coming into the franchise and actually showing a love and respect for what came before. Is that going to change anything that's happened with Disney Star Wars? Is that going to change Disney Star Wars being a dead franchise? Is that going to change the fact that they've lost $30 billion on that franchise? No. Is that going to change anything they've done? No. But at the end of the day, boys and girls, I cannot help but be cautiously optimistic and hope this ends up being good. I have trust in Shawn Levy. And it's just like I said with Marvel's X-Men the Animated Series when I was out there promoting Bo DeMayo and saying he's saying all of the right things, and this might actually end up being good. Who knows? Common Nerd might be right. He's saying all of the right things. We might get a good sci-fi movie set in a Star Wars universe, just like we got a really good X-Men the Animated Series 97 continuation. At the end of the day, I could be wrong. But at the end of the day, since this movie's coming out in theaters, it'll probably have a rough time at the box office, whether it's good or not. But you know what we're not going to have to worry about seeing, boys and girls? You know what you're not going to have to worry about seeing at the box office? You know what Starfighter is going to beat to the box office? The Rey movie, boys and girls. Contrast that with the Rey-focused new Jedi Order project, announced at Star Wars Celebration 2023, just 2 years ago. Daisy Ridley was brought on stage to loud cheers as Kathleen Kennedy touted the return of Rey to rebuild the Jedi Order. And yes, despite my cautious optimism for Shawn Levy's Star Wars project, I am always going to continue to rub it in the nose of Kathleen Kennedy for all of her failed projects and all of the development hell that so much of this stuff ends up in. And that's exactly what we're doing right now. So if you stuck around this long through the video, enjoy it, boys and girls. Yet after a splashy reveal, the film has been plagued with issues, including multiple writer departures, including Damon Lindelof and Justin Brett Gibson. Boy, I wonder if that has anything to do with the evil KK's influence out there. A revolving door of replacements. Most recently, George Nolfi stepping in after Stephen Knight's draft didn't move forward. That's right. Nobody apparently can write a girl boss that'll make KK happy. Missed production start dates, with early 2025 once floated as a kickoff, but no progress reported since. It's almost like Bob Iger's rumored order about concentrating on boy brand stories that are actually going to sell is actually coming down the pipeline. Boy, I wonder why the Mando and Grogu movie and Starfighter, starring a very white male straight character, are actually getting pushed forward while clearly the Rey movie sits on the back burner. It's almost like the fans out there have taught Disney some lessons about what works and what doesn't. As to whether or not they'll actually be able to right the whole ship, we'll see. But at the end of the day, they are doing that. And this just proves more evidence of that. The juxtaposition couldn't be sharper. On one hand, the Star Wars Starfighter cast is expanding, and the film is already shooting. On the other hand, the Rey project has lost its momentum, facing more than 2 years of script rewrites and public silence. It raises questions about Lucasfilm's strategy. Why was New Jedi Order given the celebration spotlight in 2023 if there wasn't a solid script or direction in place? And why is a brand new project like Starfighter proving easier to shepherd into existence than a film built on an existing character? Because Bob Iger has seen the numbers. He knows Rey doesn't sell. So now he's going to try to force a new version of Luke Skywalker into the franchise via Ryan Gosling. Because A, despite Hollywood going white, male, and straight as stale, it actually sells. And it actually makes you money. Because I guarantee you, there's probably going to be a whole lot less of Ryan Gosling's action figures from Starfighter in the bin at Ollie's than there is the Rey ones, boys and girls. Oh, wait, they haven't produced any new Rey toys in a really long time. I wonder why. Because Kathleen Kennedy's girl boss narrative doesn't sell. So what does Bob Iger command to be fast-tracked? What does Bob Iger greenlight? A movie set way away from all this Rey abomination and Disney, Star Wars, Kathleen Kennedy, Dave Filoni abomination garbage. And goes, hey, guess what? Greenlight and fast-track the movie starting the white guy. Because guess what? Star Wars is a boy brand, and that's what the fans want. I know. Strange concept. Strange concept. That's why, Reylos, you're not getting your Rey movie. Because it doesn't sell. You know what does? A boys brand. Star Wars. When you actually give us boy characters and stories that boys can relate to. I know, strange concept. And yeah, of course, there's a bunch of female Star Wars fans. I know, they're in my chat all of the time, right? But they love Star Wars for what it is. They're not out there trying to change it. And that makes them real Star Wars fans and not the activist hacks that work at Disney Star Wars that kiss Kathleen Kennedy's ass all the time. Yes, Dave Filoni, we're talking about you too. I don't care how many fans try to raise your praises. That Clone Wars story was shit, and that series was garbage. At the end of the day, that's Dave Filoni's fault. And guess what? The abomination that is all things Disney Star Wars is Kathleen Kennedy's fault. And now, instead of her precious self-insert Rey movie, Girl Boss Garbage, getting greenlit and fast-tracked, Bob Iger has finally put his foot down and went, no. No more of your girl boss narrative. We're broke and we actually need to make a profit. As to whether or not Star Wars Starfighter and its kind of redundant name can actually pull that off, it's only a matter of time when we will find out, boys and girls, because at the end of the day, Disney Star Wars has gotten exactly what it deserves. They danced with the devil, they've gotten burned, and now they are desperate to try to change their ways. And it'll be up to the fans as to whether or not they give them the chance or continue to make sure that Disney Star Wars is a dead brand. A big shout out to all of our subscribers and members out there. Thanks for watching, and make sure you guys like and subscribe if you have not already.